I'm here with John Saddington, and John is a serial entrepreneur. He starts endless businesses and also is the founder of a technology company called 8-Bit. And John, I thought you'd be the perfect person to have a conversation about technology. And specifically, I mean, you have, I don't even know how many followers on Twitter, hundreds, thousands, tons of followers. And I think in communities all over the world, people are trying to build their platform.
Right.
And trying to get more followers. Yeah, platform's a big buzzword. What have you learned about this question of what is enough related to this field?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, it's a question that we've been wrestling, not just myself and my company, but also myself and my wife. We have really been asking the question about, like, what is enough? And is it actually providing any value for the way that we live? Is it providing a better home life? Because at the end of the day, you know, as fun as it is to tweet and retweet and answer questions online and blog and all that stuff, you end up having to go home at the end of the day and facing your wife and your children and saying, you know, what have you done today? Well, I had 1,000 retweets, so what did you do? That's not really a conversation you have. And so you end up coming home with really very little to add to that conversation, those very important conversations. So as a result, you know, within the last year or so, I have abandoned some of the mainstays of technology and social networking, like Facebook, and of course Instagram has been a big thing. I have completely abandoned those. And because I've realized it hasn't been providing any value, and that less of noise in my life is actually providing more value for my home.
As you increase in so-called influence online, how does that affect your own personal identity?
Yeah.
Like as you start to view yourself in the midst of...
With social media, it's a fair game for everyone. You can be influencing older people, or people your age, or younger people, or people who shouldn't even be on that social network. You can be influencing your peers, and they're your fanboys or your enemies. And so what does all that do to the way that you perceive yourself? Well, you become very mediocre. You can become highly mediocre. And in a world where mediocre is the norm and normative, that's not what the world needs. They need specialists. They need people who are deciding not to be like everyone else. And so for us as people, how that applies to our identity is that we have to remember we're very unique. I will never be you, and you will never be me, and I will never be like anyone else. There is only one John Saddington. There's only one Jeff Shennebar ever in the history of the world. And yet we play to this in this platform of mediocrity. And we say that that's okay. And so I would much rather be me instead of just being amongst this wild playground and just saying, I'm going to be like everyone else. And it's hard play because, you know, as you mentioned, when we're trying to build platforms, we're trying to gain a quantitative influence. Well, I think we sacrifice the qualitative.